Lunch Money Lambert, Jeff Malott. Welcome to the Kayak Nation. Yeah. Welcome to the Kayak Nation. Kayak Nation. Hey. Welcome to the Kayak Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Nation, where we talk about fishing and competition. It's your boy Ox Pippin, aka Ox Fishing. Don't come over here tripping. Hey, hope you enjoy the show. Jeff Malott, Lunch Money Lambert, Lego. Hey, welcome to the Kayak Nation. Kayak Nation. Yeah. Welcome to the Kayak Nation. Kayak Nation. Hey. Welcome to the Kayak Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Nation.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Back on a Monday night.
Hey,
I'm trying to get my stuff adjusted, Ryan. My God.
No, my favorite part's watching Dale like run through the house in the green room.
Making it happen. Air Force, my man. He's making it work. What's up, buddy? How you doing? You feeling all right? I know you were under the weather a little bit over the weekend.
I'm still under the weather, buddy. I think I got whatever the newest cool flu is for a little bit, so we'll see.
Whatever the new variant is.
Yeah.
Got you? Dang, I'm sorry.
It got me for like 2 days. I'm on the mend now, but just tired,
Yeah. Well, tonight, y'all, we're doing state champions night. We've got Texas and Arkansas in the house. Texas, it's kind of a Texas two-step.
Hey, look at you.
We got the Lonestar champ. We've had him on before for the same tournament. He's won this twice now. And then Dale Griffin won the Texas Bass Nation event that was running simultaneous. He came in fourth in the Throwdown and won the Bass Nation event, so we're going to talk to both of them. And then I had to have the Arkansas champ on, not because it's from Arkansas, but one of my favorite people in kayak fishing, Christa Hibbs, took down the Arkansas State Championship.
She sure did.
We're going to get her in here, talk to her. She's got kind of a unique story about her and her mom, how they travel around fishing, save Ryan Lambert on the boat ramp.
Love them. Couldn't have a better lady.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about all that. It's going to be good. But before that, we always like to talk about the week that was. How was your weekend, man? You do anything outdoors, any fishing?
I did. I was in bed for pretty much the entire weekend, which is not like me at all. So, how about you? Did you leave the house?
Yeah, a little bit. I got out and hit the river over here near the house a little bit this last week. Kind of tested things, see if I could still actually fish without collapsing, and we're doing all right. So, yeah, doing all right. Caught some fish.
Next year comeback season. You think?
I think maybe next weekend I'm going to go to Fork for that big bass shootout, man.
Okay, I'll be in Amarillo. If you need anything, call me. I'll come pick you up.
All right, I think Pendergraph will be able to help me out over there. Get you
well, depends on if it's daylight or nighttime, but I'll get you in the daylight.
The Pendergraph. We'll go to the Gateway. I'll meet him down there. At least till 9:30, 10 o'clock. We'll do it.
Yeah, buddy.
But yeah, it's going to be a good show tonight. We don't want to take too long because we got 3 guests. We've got 2 from Texas, 1 from Arkansas, like I said. So we're not going to take too long chit-chatting. We do want to address a few things from last week, just real quick. You want me to start on that, Ryan?
Yeah, lead off, man.
Yeah, so last week we talked about the conclusion of the Bassmaster season. It was a great show. I thought we had a great time talking to Steve-O, wrapping things up with them and talking about the Susky event with Josh the week after that. But before we brought Josh on about the win, we were talking about some of the talk around the tournament, the shenanigans around the tournament, specifically the talk about it. Anglers were concerned about a few things. I think you brought up the fact that it was a shame to see a bad light shed on Russ for winning AOI or other anglers doing well in the tournament. Yeah. With the talk going around that was unnecessary. We could have avoided that. Well, we got some messages, Ryan and I both, that there was another podcast. I think Russ went on, and I think Josh was on that one too.
Josh was there. Yeah.
And there were some complaints laid out about things we said on our podcast. Now, I will say this. Ryan and I bring up a lot of uncomfortable subjects.
Mm-hmm.
We talk a little smack, have a little fun, but there's one thing we do not do, and that is make stuff up. We do not
No.
lie, and we do not make up stuff.
No. And when we try to address topics like this, we try to, like, some things, depending on what it is. We had one example, a few months back where you threw out a hypothetical. What if this happened? How would you feel about it? We try to leave names. Like, we're not trying to, like, point at people and call them to the carpet or whatever. But this is to make not only anglers aware, tournament directors aware, sponsors aware, so they can be more aware of what they're doing before the mistakes are made and there's a fire burning. You don't have to do it. It's not necessary. I don't think we'll ever stop doing that, Jeff. I don't ever want to.
No. Amen. We don't do that. That's kind of what we do. We bring up, we talk about everything. We love to have, more than anything, we love to have fun, like to cut up, have a good time on here. But when there's difficult subjects need to be discussed, we don't mind batting that around. But we don't make stuff up. Like I said, we don't tell stories about things that aren't factually true. Other than if we bring up some hypothetical situations or whatever. So it saddened me to hear that we were accused of, saying Russ got waypoints from a sponsor and Russ won the tournament because of Jeff. We never said any of that. So
no,
we didn't say that.
And damn sure don't compare us to CNN. You can call me whatever you want to. Definitely not CNN.
That's the most hurtful thing maybe ever.
I'll take Fox News, but rather have like Tucker Carlson or something. Well, would be preferable.
Independent journal. We're like Russell Brand is what we are. Russell Brand.
I don't know if that's the best comparison, but we'll go with that.
Right. But anyway, we're going to keep on doing what we do. But just remember this, just the facts, man. Just the facts.
Yep.
That's all we're putting out there.
Cleaning it up. Got the broom out. We're sweeping it up, boys.
Yeah. Last week we kind of messed up, Ryan. We got so excited about talking to Josh that we didn't talk about our sponsors early. We talked about them at the end. So we need to do that first tonight before we get rolling. Number one, we're doing a Seaguar giveaway tonight. If you guys saw that in the little overlays as we got going there. So Facebook, like and share for the Seaguar giveaway. And then on YouTube, in the world, you seeing that?
Yeah.
Can't see the Seaguar overlay. But anyway, on Facebook.
It popped up for a second. There we go.
There it is. There she goes. Like and share on Facebook, and then on YouTube and Twitch, like and comment. Over on Twitter, wherever, just share it. Hook us up. We can't really connect to the giveaway on here, but we'd still appreciate it if you're on Twitter watching or Rumble or wherever else. So we appreciate y'all. So Seaguar contest tonight. Of course, the entire show presented by Dugout Bait and Tackle. How they doing?
Rigging them up, man. I saw Christine just picked up her new kayak down there. Jamie's still pumping them out. He has a full stock of all your fall favorites. So get online, dugoutfishing.com, and load up on everything you need to smash them this fall.
She do some kind of, was there a team meet and greet, or was it just her down there shaking hands?
I think it was just her. I think Christine was just in town meeting the fans,
Yeah, I saw she went to church with them. Looked like a pretty cool place.
Yeah.
So good stuff at Dugout, of course. The whole show, the official battery of KB Nation is Pro Guide, Pro Guide Lithium. So, I took the summer off, right, Ryan, from fishing, trying to rehab and do some things. Well, I pulled the Pro Guides out, and they never missed a beat after sitting there dormant for 3 months, basically. So left them charged, and they didn't lose anything. I ran that 10-inch Garmin all day, no problem. So there we go.
I got to get my black box fixed. I think it went out in a flood inside my kayak at some point. So I got to get the live scope fixed for this fall.
I don't have this is so exciting to me, but we've got Twitch comments blowing up everywhere. We've got 2 or 3 Twitchers over there.
I love it.
It's crazy. We've gone virtual on Twitch. Bangtail Whiskey, official drink of KBN. And then tonight, like we said, the Seaguar giveaway. We did a couple Revo giveaways back to back. Z-Man will be coming up next. And I saw something on the page about looking for rain gear and coveralls and all that. They were asking
somebody
about
posted, they asked about AFCO, and I gently pointed them in the direction. Gill Fishing, we have 25% off. I mean, if you've looked at high-end rain gear, it's expensive. So 25% goes a long way. Thank you to Gill for stepping up with that for the nation.
There we go. So let's get these boys from Texas in here and talk about big bass.
Let's do it.
Gentlemen.
There we go.
Howdy, y'all.
How y'all doing?
Good, man. Thank y'all for coming in here tonight. I know we kind of scrambled around. I've been chasing Jacob for like 3 days. I finally got Duke to give me his number, Ryan. I tracked him down.
Well, that's okay. You got a wall full of stuff back there, Jacob.
Yes, sir. We've been building on it. Yes, sir.
I see. I like it. What's that one up top? What's that high flying fish up there?
Which one, the
Over your right
striper?
Yeah. What's that about?
That's just a fish that my dad caught a long time ago here out of Canyon.
I got you.
And Dale, what's that beautiful machine right behind your head
Oh,
there?
hell, here we go. Tell him to send a
Just for
check.
you.
Hey,
Ryan
man.
Lilly, send a check. We'll get
Dugout sells.
advertising.
Dugout sells Old Towns. I mean, we're all interconnected, intertwined here.
Finally, took long enough.
I did.
We got the leaning against the Discovery.
Oh wow!
Oh, okay, loaded up.
Oh, man.
So Jeff, tell us who won what here. Introduce these folks.
All right, yeah. So Jacob Moeller won the Lonestar Throwdown. You know, it's the biggest party and the biggest tournament of the year for the Texans over there. All the clubs come together. It's the second time you won it, right? Because I know it's the second time we've had you on here for winning it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Dale won. Is that the inaugural Bass Nation Texas championship?
They had one last year at I believe Steelhouse in December.
Okay, so the second one, but Dale took it was on the same lake, same time. Dale took the championship for the Bass Nation event and came in top 5 for the Throwdown as well. So we wanted to have them both on here, talk a little bit about the event itself. As you know, Duke and the gang put that on. It's a big party, big time. I've always wanted to actually go to it, never have gone.
There's cooking and boozing and all the things, right? I mean, it's way more than just your average fishing tournament, I think.
Absolutely, it's a great tournament. Everything you just said, the camaraderie, you can't beat it. You really can't.
What do you have to do to qualify for the Lonestar Throwdown?
Just not fish for the North. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Okay, that's fair.
It's already handicapped enough.
Yeah, I've asked this before, Ryan. I believe if you fish an event in Texas at any point, you're in.
That's what I thought it was, because I think when I fished PK, they were like, "Are you coming back for the Throwdown?" I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, and speaking of that, this was on PK, which has now become like kayak fishing's favorite destination in Texas. So,
I mean, if it keeps putting out bags like it does, I'd say it will remain on that list.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So
Jacob,
where do we want to start?
Yeah, let's start with the champ. Let's start with the champ. Jacob, you went back to back, or not back to back, but second time winning the Throwdown.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about when you got there, what you figured out, and how it was setting up before heading into the tournament.
Absolutely. Well, it all technically, I guess it starts Thursday. I started looking at the weather a few days prior. I did get out on the water on Thursday here on my home lake. I needed to talk to Garmin about some LVS 34 stuff. So I kind of used that to look at what was going on, and I made a phone call to a buddy who lives up there, and they had the same weather on Thursday. So I saw this. It kind of peaked, I think, Wednesday, Thursday, the fishing, and we started getting these waning conditions Friday. I did get a lot of bites on Friday. I shook a lot of fish off, but I saw what was going on with the moon and the cold front coming, that I kind of knew we were going to probably face some tough conditions. It was probably going to fish tougher than PK normally does. And I paid close attention to the weather Friday night, and we got a really heavy north wind, 15 and 20 miles an hour. So it really helped me kind of pinpoint where I want to start on Saturday morning. And I took all of that and just let that kind of chase the wind in the morning as far as where I want to start, and realized that we were going to have a lot of time in the dark, and took advantage of that with the chatterbait right away. And my first fish, like second or third cast in, was 22, and then shortly after boated an 18. And those were really big, I think, points in the tournament. Those are really.
That's got that tournament lip on it too, boy. Look at that thing.
Definitely. Such a great fish. I felt, how do I say? I felt very satisfied and accomplished just right away with where I chose to fish because of that. And it made sense. The north wind was blowing in a main lake pocket, and I wanted to be close to the main lake because I knew that wind was going to rip all night. I knew that it was going to muddy up a lot of creeks and little backwaters and things. So I wanted to be close to the main lake because I wanted that fresh water. But I still started where that north wind was blowing into. And it happened to be a spot where I also found a little bit of that skunk grass. There's not much grass on PK, but there is a little bit of that skunk grass if you can find it up real shallow. We still have really good water temps, and chatterbait bite up real shallow is really good, really early. But it does wane, so you have to know when to stop and put it down. And I feel like I made a good choice in doing that and just go into a shallow dock pattern with a finesse swim bait, and was fortunate to get a 17 3/4 not too long after I caught the first two, and submitted those 3 around 10 a.m. Saw that I was in 5th, and then the lull hit. That lull that came around that time, and gosh, it got really rough, and there was a lot of pressure, a lot of boats out there. And
where did you find these freak fish at, man?
How do you target the long lip fish? That's what we need to
is that how fast you reel it, or what's going on?
It's those shallow raptor mouth bass that just live in the dirt is what they are, honestly. I mean, all those fish were caught in less than 2 feet. The 2 at the end, that was the crucial point, because I went from about 10 a.m. till 2 o'clock without a bite and felt the famine, and went offshore, tried everything, broke off on a sea rig, had an hour left, and looked at a stretch of docks across the lake and was like, man, that's what you know how to do. Go do it. Put your head down and grind. And I got over there and I found the right setup with wind and a little peninsula with riprap on it, and just started really trying to attack those shade lines where the walkways began on those docks. And just put that bait in there, that same little finesse swim bait, and caught the 16.5, and let that fish go. Photographed it, let it go, and made the same exact cast and caught the 22. And that's the tournament, honestly. I had about 45 minutes left or so. I went down, caught a 15.5, and that's all she wrote.
That's what on your limit you had 5, and I didn't see any coals, so that was your 5 best right there.
Yeah, it all mattered. It was so important. It's kind of boring when you kind of go over the whole timeline of the day. I wish I had a lot more to give details about, but the lull. I mean, we were facing a lake with less than ideal conditions and a ton of people, and you've got to, in my opinion, in those times, you have to kind of look around and see what everybody else is doing and not do that. First of all, those lakes, and those fish get pressured. There's a lot of boats that use live scope and spot lock and fish offshore, and you could see a lot of people trying to fish that mid to deep, level throughout the day. And the wind never stopped, and I knew that you could probably get some fish ultra shallow that boats have a hard time getting to. That's one thing I've got to give a lot of shout out to Hobie for making 60 kayak, because I take that thing into so little of water and catch these fish so close to me, and that's a huge advantage. I kind of try to do that all the time at these lakes, like figure out how to catch them where it's difficult for others. Utilize the vessel and its ability to go underneath docks and cast the opposite direction, and just all these little things like this.
What was the water clarity number 1, and what pound test were you using on that finesse swim bait number 2?
In the morning, when I caught the 17 3/4 on the bait, it wasn't too bad. A little stain. Later in the day, when I chose to run over there and fish those docks, they had gotten a lot of wind throughout the day, and it was pretty stained. And so that little swim bait does happen to have a blade on it, and it happens to be gold as well. And really choosing a plastic that has gold flake in it also. And just really trying to stand out in that dirty water, in the wind, and just, really try to take advantage of those fish that are in that ultra shallow water.
I was gonna make him clarify on small swim bait, right? Because last time he was on, he was showing us his collection of giant. I was like, his small swim bait, like an 8-inch Huddleston or whatever.
Yeah,
What are we talking
finesse.
No,
Really finesse.
very little, very small, soft plastic. Very, very small, very finessey, very opposite from the big stuff. But yeah, and on the pound test, Seagar and Vizex in 15-pound.
Okay.
I use it on spinning tackle, kind of a beefed up spinning setup. It's a Dobbins Fury. It's a 703 SF spinning rod, so kind of a beefy, not so expensive, great, bait, great rod for skipping baits. And a 4,000 size Stratic CI4 Plus, a big reel that can take up a lot of line. The whole reason for that setup that way is to skip the bait, to put it in tight little locations, real easy, thousands of times, and not having the issue with backlashing. You've got wind a lot in those conditions, and it's hard to skip a bait, and a lot of people just give it up, but the fish still live there, and get in those areas. So you've got to figure out how to get to them, and that system allows me to do that.
That's awesome. Dale, how was your tournament? How did your day start off? Was it with 22-inch Bubba Gump lip fish, or did you have to work a little harder at it?
I mean, it started pretty good, and then it's very similar, a lull. But I wasn't really on anything in pre-fishing, so I went up Sunday the week prior and caught, like Jacob mentioned, some back behind the docks.
Lord, you caught some fat fish though.
Yeah,
Lord.
mine were feeding. Mine were not.
Yeah, golly.
Mine were not the
Crazy fish.
they were grown.
Yeah, those are our boat tournament fish there.
Yeah. So I did some pre-fishing the Sunday prior, and I found fish behind the docks throwing a shower blow. Caught a couple doing that, but I just wasn't confident that it was going to yield any size, that I was just going to get 15s, and because that's all I caught doing it. And then Thursday got out at 6 in the afternoon. So I got about an hour and a half of fishing in, went to the main lake to just see if I could find any schoolers, and really didn't see any like topwater action or schooling fish. And I'd like to say that I was smart, but I just fished history. So I fished the same tournament 4 years ago in the exact same spot, and I got third. So I just went right back to it.
Well, sometimes it works.
What was your productive bait of choice?
I caught my first one on a Z-Man Sling Blades. And then from there, I just pitched a jig that I make.
Okay. Slow it down, huh?
I just pitched a jig all day.
Is it an LBJ, like a little ball head brown jig, or what is it?
No, it's like a 3/8 ounce swim jig and like a powder blue and white.
Okay.
But I was fishing muddy water, maybe less than a foot of visibility or so.
Like, were you around docks or anything, or what was kind of the setup you were targeting? Just a pocket, windblown pocket or something?
I went up a creek, and then I was just targeting all the little like buckbrush, or not buckbrush, just little laydowns and stick ups. Very small.
You were in an autopilot, I think I saw there in your
yeah, I was in the autopilot.
So you weren't concerned with racing anyone to your spot?
No. Luckily, there weren't many people. I think we had two or three other kayaks in that whole creek arm that day, and then maybe 2 bass boats came in. When you're considering 160 kayaks, and then I think the college tournament had 100 boats.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so y'all had some pretty good competition on the bass boat side too, then.
Yeah, there was I think it was about 100 people out there.
I see a lot of comments about the live scopers, that there's a ton of live scope pressure on PK for this weekend.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure there was. That's kind of why I wanted to stay off the main lake, because I figured the main lake would have a better chance at like that 22, 23. Hell, somebody had at one point 47 inches with 2 fish. but he couldn't get a fifth fish. So I knew like the main lake, you'd have your bigger fish, but I just wasn't as confident getting that all 5.
There's
Oh
old
my
Biggin.
gosh.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
I think it weighed 10 too. What he said?
That's gluttony. Gluttony.
I
right there.
can't tell if that kayak cushion is under the fish or under the board. Mercy. That's a big one. Coon King Bob wants to know what you were using for a trailer on your magical swim jig.
I use a Z-Curl Junior because I'm cheap, and it alleviates bringing a ton of plastic because I can use it for a jig trailer, chatterbait trailer, pitch it itself. So it helps me carry less stuff.
Ryan,
So
it's like we drew this up. We got Jacob using the Seaguar line, Dale using the Z-Man stuff. I mean,
I love it. I love
beautiful.
That we run with winners, okay? That's what I want you to know.
I pulled that big fish up, Dale, and I just noted Jeff White with that 24 1/4, 4 fish, and still came in 11th.
Yeah,
that is
with that
crazy.
With that biggin in there.
Yep.
Wow.
Oof. But overall, I think the review of PK would be a thumbs up still, even when it's fishing tough. I mean, both you guys had, solid fish in your limits there.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
What do you think it's going to do in the spring for that Bassmaster event? Is it going to top Mark Pendergraft's 190-inch total or whatever he had in one day?
I don't fish it enough to give it a fair guess. I fished it twice. And that's sad.
Turns out it's working out pretty well for. Are you going to fish the Bassmaster tournament in the spring, Dale?
I should. This is I've missed every other Bassmaster out there. I've been deployed for every single one. So fingers crossed I'll make this one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Jacob, what do you think? You think it's going to show out, put up 117, 118?
We're going to have to wait and see the conditions coming in. It definitely can. That's what had me unconfident the other day at the end. I knew that, and I hadn't seen the leaderboard since 10 o'clock. And, I knew that I had 96, but I hadn't, I figured, the norm could be 100 inches easily with multiple people based on, that event that happened in the past. And, and being there several times now for 3 tournaments. So it could be really good. It's definitely a great lake. It's got a great population of fish in it. The water level is healthy, comparatively speaking, around the state.
They keep it pretty level too, right? I mean, it doesn't have a ton of fluctuation.
Correct. I've been there. I went for the Throwdown when we were there last, and then a TKC event last year. And then this one, and it's been fairly close compared, to a lot of these other lakes that we've seen get 20 feet low. Canyon right behind me right now is like 20 feet low. So many of them have been low, but yeah, generally they've kept the water level pretty consistent. So it ought to fish pretty good. I'll definitely try to be there. That's for sure.
Yeah, Bob's wanting to know what brand swim jig he makes. He makes his own, Bob. So slide in Dale's DMs and he'd be happy to sell you some.
Next time
congrats, you just launched a jig business, Dale. Congratulations.
It seems so.
Do you sell them, or is it just a personal hobby for yourself?
No, my dad usually pours them all, and then I just go over and shop at his garage and tie them up.
Well, tell your dad he just got a new customer.
Yep.
If he can tie up some raccoon swim jigs, that'd be fantastic.
Coontail swim jig. That's what we need.
Oh boy,
Straight
that's
out
a
of
good
Texas.
name, honestly.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the Throwdown for those that aren't familiar with it. How was it this year? Who won? Which region won this year?
North.
The North.
Well, in fairness, I mean they have a huge handicap. I will say I think they had 50 anglers. So what it is you sign up for each individual region, and then the top 5 anglers from each region add to your cumulative total. So,
who has Clifton Allen? Which region has Clifton Allen?
I don't know if anybody wants to claim him. So I don't know.
He's like Notre Dame, independent.
Oh boy. Do you get to pick? So if an outsider comes to the Throwdown, do they get to pick which region they fish with?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's cool. We can gang up on them.
Exactly.
It's a really rad tournament. They always have great food. The food was really good. The camaraderie's great. They always choose a great place to have the event. You know, people were great that ran that place. They were easy to work with. Everybody was super chill, great vibes. Yeah.
That's half the battle for finding somewhere to host it, is somewhere that allows 150 drunk people running around.
I am an advocate of that. I think more people should adopt that format.
So it tends to be few lakes that we can actually host the event at.
But it's always a good time. And nobody, you don't ever hear like, a paddy wagon hauling off 20 anglers or anything. So apparently everybody knows how to behave for the most part.
Definitely.
It's Texas.
Definitely.
They repealed the laws for the weekend for the Throwdown.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
I mean, it's Texas anyway. It's fine. Get used to it.
Outlaws out there. How much crossover was there between the two events? Because like I said, Dale won the Bass Nation event. Jacob won the Throwdown. Was there an overlap where some people didn't fish one and the other? Obviously there was. Did you see a handful of folks in the Bass Nation tournament that did not fish the Throwdown and vice versa?
I don't know if there's anybody that fished the Bass Nation that didn't sign up for the Throwdown. There might have been a few, but I wouldn't have imagined.
Gotcha. Are you going to go fish the championship next spring on 10 Killer?
Yep. Fortunately, our Texas Bass Nation, Texas Nation stepped up and is paying the entry fees and lodging.
Oh, that's awesome.
For the top 5 from the event. So that was a huge motivating factor for getting more signed up.
Wow,
Jacob, do you regret not signing up for the Bass Nation now?
A little bit, yes. Yeah.
I'm not regretting.
I was preoccupied with just a lot going on in my head, getting ready for the tournament, and I didn't have any member dues paid for BASS or and my game plan with the Throwdown this year was to do the Throwdown. It's it's something that I love to attend just as a standalone event because it is what it is. And in addition, I was going up there to practice for our PXKBL Classic that's coming up on Fork. And so that's what I went and did Sunday. Left PK real early early Sunday morning and drove to Fork and practiced. So kind of knocked out 2 birds with 1 stone. But yeah, it would have been nice to sign up for the other one too. But it is what it is.
Hey, you got that W again, so you can't argue with that.
Yes, sir.
Is there going to be a Bass Nation series in Texas next year, or is it going to continue to be opens? It's kind of what we've been doing in Arkansas, just opens.
I think the hope is that it's a series, but I
feel
can't
like
speak.
Texas has so many different trails and stuff. I think that's probably the biggest detractor for having that in Texas. Is there's so many 16 or 18 different trails running all the time. I think you'd almost have to schedule them more as piggyback events. Almost, I think
that might be what they've looked at, but I can't say for sure. I'm not sure.
Put your name on it. Dale said there's going to be a Texas.
No, I did not.
I think the problem is getting Duke to run it, and he's too busy. That's the problem.
That's half. Yeah.
I like the idea of that though. That piggybacking idea, I like.
I think having a trail gives more opportunities, obviously, for qualifiers, and then it kind of puts the final event, being a state championship, it puts it a little bit above, just having an open.
Mm-hmm.
Duke is out on it.
See in the comments?
No, he's not. He's not going to do it.
Duke is on it, and yes.
Yeah, I mean, most people that would
Duke.
host it just have so much on their plate, so it's a lofty ask for anyone else to step up and.
It is, but I'll tell
that.
you, putting that Bass badge on something when you go to a community and ask for money for something, that's huge. Because they're familiar with Bass. Obviously, Bass runs a lot of tournament trails through Texas waters, so I think they, associate that with a little bigger reach than Joe Blow's kayak trail coming through.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I kind of underestimated that, Ryan, to be honest. I wasn't sure how much weight that would carry, but it's huge.
Huge. Dude,
It's
Steve-O has ran. I mean, he's about to announce the Tennessee Bass Nation trail, but it's big. It is big. It's a lot of events, and it's a lot of cities that have bought in on it. So
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, you guys got people from Indiana coming down for that stuff.
We trying, man. They're moving. They're packing their shit up and just moving down there for it.
Insanity.
Love it.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, we don't want to keep you too long. We're splitting the show in half tonight, but we just appreciate y'all taking the time to slide in here and talk a little bit about Texas Big Bass. Congrats on both of your wins, respectively. Jake, what are you holding in your hand there? I feel like you want to show us that. What is it?
It's just a 86 Bates Andromeda.
Okay, I thought you were like to drop.
How
some
much does
knowledge.
that cost? I feel like that's more than I'm willing to spend.
They're a little pricey. They're like a
2-year wait list.
Yeah. Not quite. You can get them on his drops. You don't have to be within 30 seconds of it, like KGB. Some of these lately, these new TSGs that he's been dropping, they go in 30 seconds or so.
Crazy.
But the Andromeda you can get when he drops them. They are expensive though, and that's
I'm gonna throw some this winter. I think I'm gonna come out to Ivy and fish this winter, actually in December.
Yeah,
Don't shake your head, Dale. I'm doing it,
I
bro.
hate that lake. That
I'm
lake
sure it can be good on
it just
PK.
beats me down.
Dude, my buddy caught. We're gonna have him on as a guest, Jason Kahn. He caught a 17 out there. I think it's number 8 big bass in Texas. So
Wow.
I think it's
I'm gonna get
I
out
think it's
and fish
7th
with him.
all time.
Is it? It's 7th or 8th. He
it's-
just got his trophy. They had it. Had his share lunker deal last week.
I mean, I caught my first years ago. I caught my first double digit out of there in
Before it was cool.
in 2011. Well, it had another cycle like this back in 2010 through 2012. Just not this extreme.
I'm looking forward to it. I gotta check the double D off my bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Don't.
Good luck.
Dale,
Good
don't.
luck.
Damn it! I'm doing it. All right, I'm gonna tag you when I catch the damn thing too.
I hope you do.
I'm gonna name it Dale. As a matter of fact, do it for Dale, baby.
All right, boys. Well, hey, we're gonna let y'all slide out of here. Once again, we appreciate y'all. Good luck with any remaining championships you have.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll have you both, one of you or both of you, back on here soon. Appreciate y'all.
Probably
sir.
for the same
Good night.
tournaments.
Yeah,
See you, boys. Congrats.
that was good. Good fellas there.
I like him, Texas
Good.
boys.
Good fellers. But now, we'll save the best for last. No offense to the fellas.
The Queen of Arkansas, Christa
Yes.
Hibbs.
Crystal, what's up?
Hey, not much. How are y'all doing?
Oh,
Good.
good.
Krista's got that dark theme going too. I like it. She got the memo.
Yeah.
Everybody else
Nice
got the
and-
bright lights on.
Yeah, nice and cool in my eyes. I like
Yeah.
that.
So, Crystal, what's going on?
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. I mean, obviously we've seen you in a lot of tournaments, a lot of national tournaments out there making noise. This was a big one for you, huh? I mean, that kind of put the feather in the cap in the home state.
Yeah, I was really glad for it. That's definitely. Didn't really expect it because it was, I guess, one of the tournaments I went on was actually like zero practice. So it was really awesome to kind of overcome and come out on the end like that. So really, really, really cool deal.
Yeah, and I double checked the TOC list before coming on because I assumed you had qualified, and I was right. You're in the TOC this year as well, so congrats on
Yes.
that.
Thank you. That was a goal I set for myself like last year. Like I was like, we're going to do this in 2023, and we did it. So
If you could take out like 5 or 6 people, I'd appreciate it. Just so I can slide in there. I'm still gonna come see everybody, but I would love to make a cast in that tournament. It'd be fantastic.
yeah, it's kind of been like a long time coming really for Chick because we didn't make the trip in 22 when Hobie came in June. We had trouble with the vehicle here in Arkansas, so kind of been prepping for this for a long time now. So
The Hummer,
really-
the Hummer gave you some trouble.
Yeah, I mean, we tried everything we could think of renting a vehicle, the repair. I can't remember exactly what it was, but the piece had to be ordered to get in. So like we just could not make it. It was going to be like $2,000 just to get there. So yeah,
It wasn't-
we
it
tried
wasn't worth it.
everything.
Don't worry,
No,
you didn't miss anything.
we were heartbroken, like having to stay behind for that one. But like Justin Patrick schooled them out there for that one, so it was cool to see that. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, I hated to miss it then, but very thankful to make it here in a few weeks. So yeah.
You'll enjoy it. It should be fishing really well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah,
We'll
so
leave 2 weeks from Friday. We're gonna head out, so we're gonna actually make it for the whole practice. So
Nice. Mama coming?
she is. She
Love
took off work, so now she's just gonna do like some R&R, and I think she's gonna help AJ and Steve out a little bit with some of the food stuff. But stay busy.
She won't need to bring any bug spray for this one. Thank you
No.
for that at lacrosse, but you won't need bug spray on this one.
Yeah,
So,
that'll be nice.
So Ryan, down on when the Washita, your favorite TOC that they had down in
Yeah.
Washita.
Yeah, it's top 5.
Krista's mama, Carolyn, bumped me out of the shootout by a spot to get in that TOC.
Savage. She
Yeah.
probably did it on purpose too.
She probably did.
So where was this tournament that you won? It wasn't on my favorite lake in Arkansas, Dardanelle.
No.
Where was this one?
This was Greer's Ferry, which is actually about 60 miles north of Little Rock, like north central Arkansas. So like for us to get there from Fort Smith, we passed Dardanelle, and that's about 2.5 hours from the driveway.
Didn't even slow down, did you? Didn't even
No.
look over there.
No, so we just headed up through the Ozarks, and it's just nestled up there in the mountains, kind of by Clinton, Arkansas. Kind of in just down there between the mountains. Really cool lake though. Like it reminded me a lot of Beaver, so like just real rocky and real. It's like on the drawdown right now, so I think it was like around 8 foot low. But no, I didn't know.
So it's
the
like a
difference,
Highland
but
Reservoir type deal. Is it clear water?
Yeah, yeah. But it's kind of like two lakes or connected by narrows. So the top of it's more, if you're going to have anything dirty at all, it's more on the north side, and the south side is real clear stuff. But
Is there current like coming through the connection part there?
There wasn't whenever that I saw it all. I'm sure there is like different lake level times and different time of the year, but it looks like the drawdown was mostly over with for as far down as it was when we did go there. But there's lots of timber poking out and everything everywhere. I'm sure whenever it's a normal pool, it's real good fishing. But it fished pretty good for me when I was there for even the drawdown. But I don't know. I just kind of picked a place on the map and did some map study and went with it. And we actually made it into town Friday, like right at dark. And I was like, I need to get some eyes on the ramp before I even go out there, like in the morning. So we went out there. I mean, you could barely see like the mountain line. I was like, okay, this will work. We can get the trailer in. I'll just start out here in the morning. So there was like 52 of us, I believe, in that tournament. But there's that morning, Saturday morning, there's around 6 or 7 of us at the ramp. So I was like, wow. So I wasn't really expecting that many people with as many launches that were in play. But it's, I guess, apparently a pretty popular place. So it's had some company that morning. So it was good to see some guys and meet some new guys too that hadn't really got to meet.
Yeah, I saw some people in the comments talking about it was a tough bite on Greer's, tough fishing on Greer's. Was it because it was low? Was it the weather? It looked like you caught them up. There's a couple people that had a bunch of culls, but then some people had some really tough days. So what was going on with the weather and the bite?
Yeah, we had that kind of cool front come through, and to me, that like is here Fort Smith's about the same weather really that they were getting over that way, but we had those mornings that were like 44 degrees, which was like the coolest mornings we'd had just yet. So it was pretty cool. It was real foggy. The water temp though was still like 74 both mornings, so it wasn't quite like drastic change, but the air temp was definitely a lot lower. But I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of this really healthy lake. It looked like for the most part, but just maybe the quality bites are more harder to come by. It seemed like it's like when I did some research too, I kind of looked at past tournaments through the years, and it looked like, low 80s, high 70s was kind of what it would take to, cash a check in most events. So maybe typically it just fishes that way. Is what it seemed like.
Yeah, and it looked like you were on all largemouth. That there is some decent smallmouth in that lake. I saw some of the fellas had full stringers of smallmouth, but didn't have the size at all. And overall, I mean, it wasn't just giant stringers coming in, but you were consistent for 2 days. So
yeah.
What'd you find? Obviously you didn't get to pre-fish a lot. So what'd you figure out early, and what pattern did you stick with?
Yeah. So I just really try to cover water first thing that morning, like pick off the easy ones on the top water, scan around to see what was really there, looking for brush piles, like all the mix of it. Picked up a limit pretty quick, but it was all just, dinky fish. Lots of spotted bass wanted to eat like anything you threw in the water at that point. So eventually, culled out through all those. And if you notice, there's I think 3 culls I made on day one that were really critical, and I didn't realize how critical they were going to be, especially playing into Sunday. But I stumbled across some brush piles and some better stuff toward the very end of day one, and that's where I actually started day 2. And it showed, because my ones that I needed, like the 18 and the 17 from day 2 came early in that spot. So.
Were you scoping, or were you traditional?
Yeah,
scoping?
So that's how I found the better stuff, was the live scope. I found a lot of bait, which is really what I was looking for, and with that bait, I ended up finding the better fish. So they were just right outside on the deep side of the channel, and right off of that channel was 3 different sets of brush piles, but they all looked kind of different. Like one of them, I don't know how much tungsten I lost through one of them because it was so sticky, whether it be something that someone put out that was new. I don't know what in the world, but it was just loaded with fish. But right along there, they just stayed there. The bait was there both days. That next morning on Sunday, they were up a little bit more shallow, so it was a little bit easier to get them. But after that I just pulled off the bank and started tearing those up the rest of the day.
On your catch board, it looks dirtier than Ryan's. Is that for good luck?
That's Sam Rayburn blood. Just what that was. I didn't get that washed off.
I like it. I think you got to leave that on there to let the fish know you're serious. You know, they see that and they're like, "Uh-oh, I better lay still."
Yeah, I always hang on to them like before I let them go to make sure I can actually read the inches that I'm expecting it to be. Like, because I want to be able to make sure that they'll get judged correctly. But my mom, when I did have service, I was getting texts from my mom. She's like, "You need to clean off your board." I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And I was like, "Oh, she's right. Some of these look pretty bad." But no, that was my fault because that was just dried on there from Texas. But
hey, ain't nothing wrong
the
with
judges work a little bit. That'd be all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So shame on me, I didn't scroll down. Was she not in the tournament this time?
No, she had a knee surgery early this year.
Ah.
She ended up not even fishing enough stuff local to end up qualifying this year, unfortunately. But this is kind of the same deal. She went ahead, made the trip, and she just stayed in the Airbnb the whole weekend. Just had some more R&R. She said Saturday was like the best day because it's one of the days that last day she can remember not doing nothing, and that's how she liked it. But
Yeah. So for people who don't know you, Christa, tell them a little bit about. I think it's really unique. You know, Ryan and I kind of joke about it, and I know you saved Ryan at the boat ramp with his broken leg there. But you and your mom have been doing this for years, traveling the country. You don't hear stories like that much. So just tell about you and your mom and how you guys got into tournament fishing together and traveling around the country doing this.
Okay. We're probably looking like 2016, 2017. I've used to fish out of a bass boat. So I had a Skeeter ZX 180 and we just did like local derbies around here. And all of a sudden, I used to work weekends at work. And my good friend Brandon Ward, he worked the weekends with us. You may remember Brandon.
I do. Yeah.
He's like, you know what they got going on? We're fishing out of kayaks now with these little plastic boards called a hog trough. And they're measuring them. And I was like, they're measuring them. And we looked it up, like there was a website and stuff you could find all this stuff on. And I was like, well, let's give it a try. I was like, this looks awesome. We started, figuring out the trails that were around. Bought all the stuff. The first kayaks that my mom and I had were a Motion Stealth, I think is what they were.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Bass Pro Shop, like awesome boat. We drug that thing to Fork. I don't know how many times, like till we got, as we upgrade our boats, the things that we like. But started off doing that and just loved it. Like the boat ended up sitting in the garage and eventually sold the boat. And now here we are, so many years later. But it's been a blast. So we as Hobie's come along, as Bass has come along, and all these different local clubs that we've been involved in, we've just, dove in head first. But yeah, it's been a blast.
Awesome. Y'all are, I mean, that's kind of, did your mom fish before? Did she fish often? Did she fish with you out of your bass boat?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which I don't know if they have it now. Actually, COVID may have kind of put a damper on it, but we used to have the Big Bass Bonanza on the Arkansas River every year here, and that was one thing that we'd always do together. It's it's just big money for big bass each hour kind of deal, but we just all kinds of little stuff like that we do together that we could do. And then of course now we're ate up with kayak fishing, so yeah.
I love it. Y'all are good people to be around. Krista's mom is a mom. Like she like I got to the ramp and she's like, "Do you have bug spray?" And I was like, "Ma'am, I don't have it. Like I'm lucky I found the ramp. All right." Like I got in the water and she's like, "Here, I've got some bug. Do you have snacks?" And I'm like, "I'm good. Thank you so much." She's like, "You wait till Christa gets back. She'll help you load that boat." I was like, "Thank God somebody's taking care of me. Y'all can fish with me any day, please."
Oh, she follows all you guys. She loves y'all to death. She's always asking or hoping or rooting everybody on.
Keep hoping.
Oh, yeah.
That's what she's been doing the last couple of years. She's hoping y'all gonna do something. Lord.
No, she enjoys it a lot.
Yeah, and y'all got that signature Hummer. I know when the Hibbs are around. I see the Hummer pulling up.
I know. When I pulled in the ramp, I was like, "This is the spot right here." Found it. Then they proceed to just run me in the ditch, and I was like, "Well, all right. At least I know there were fish here somewhere."
Man, that Hummer's been through it too. I'll never forget. Like thought we were crazy, and we're gonna make that Watts Bar frozen Iron Man that was a couple years ago. We drove that sucker from Fort Smith out there to just north of Dayton, I think we were saying. And oh my gosh, I look back now and I'm like, we were crazy to do that.
That was rough. I mean, that was a terrible tournament to drive that far for too. That cold front, especially that second day, everything was iced over. It was freezing to death. Not a fun one for sure.
Yeah,
I'm glad you made it. You should come back. Watts Bar gets slightly better, not a lot better, slightly better.
Yeah, but that just an example. Like we're gonna do this. Let's just, however long it takes, we're just gonna cruise real slow all the way to Tennessee. We made it. I don't know how though. That stretch between like Little Rock and Memphis was the worst. But
Memphis and Nashville on 40 is terrible too. Like I don't think they pave 40 west of Nashville. I think they just gave up on the whole road.
Yeah, that's
Does
bad.
Mama drive or do you drive?
We kind of trade off. Now that she's been having that trouble with her knee, I've been driving a lot more to kind of give her a break. But
who's the better driver?
Oh, me, definitely. Me.
I was wondering if you'd tell the truth. That's fine.
Sometimes I beg her to go to sleep when we're getting ready to go through like Birmingham or those big towns like that, because she wants to be the one driving, but it just
scares you a little bit. Gets you a little tense over there.
She stresses, and it's just, you can't, if you're in traffic like that, you can't stop it. You just got to keep on rolling. It'll get better eventually.
Tyler Zingerly in the comments talking about she's really good at coming up here to Northwest Arkansas and taking our money, and that's true. She does come up here to Northwest Arkansas and take our money. But it's funny because I think I'm accurate in saying this, Christa. When you first started coming up here, you kind of had to figure it out, sort of like you've had to figure it out as you've traveled around the country. You've had kind of ups and downs until like these last couple of years, you've really been more consistent. So what was the key to kind of grinding and figuring that out as you go to all these new places?
Yeah, I've been fortunate to really like live where I live and fish around a lot of good anglers locally. Like we have a lot of good anglers locally here in the River Valley, but like traveling up to face like the natural state kayak angler guys, like, and to change the kind of bodies of water that I'm fishing has really helped me as I travel nationally. So we can tear it up here on the river, like fish and sling dirty stuff all day long, and then go up there to the clear stuff on beaver and try to dish it out with those guys. But like really just being more diverse as an angler and learning lots of different things on lots of different bodies of water has really helped me kind of apply that to other places.
What does your tourney prep look like on that? I mean, do you do a lot of YouTube map study? Do you look for places that you're more comfortable, like presentation wise? Like how do you break it down when you're going across the country to a body of water you've never seen before?
Yeah, a lot of it, stuff like that in different states is really more map prep. And I'll look back like historically at what to expect in those places, different times of the year. Kind of like with Greer's, I just kind of look back historically at, what kind of caliber am I looking at here whenever I'm going. And then with that, just try to apply the strengths that I have to the things that I like. So like Kentucky Lake, there's rocks or grass, different stuff there to fish whenever we fished back there in May this year. So with that, just kind of rolled with it and figured out what suited me better, and ended up fishing along the dam and cast a check in that one. So it's just different things like that. That's what's really helped though, is like I say beaver, but it's really helped me through the years being able to be more diverse, because there, you do have the more clear stuff and the more rocky stuff. So I like fishing that a lot, but then I could turn right around and come back home and fish the dirty grass all day long too. So it's just, but as far as the traveling, it's more map study and prep stuff like that, and really time on the water. So I try to do as much of that as I can as far as planning and traveling. But that's, I say that, but then we went to Rayburn and I heavily relied on more map study stuff, because when we got down there late Thursday and only got to practice what was allowed on that Friday. So that was actually a very limited practice for me, but ended up being my first top 10 for the Hobie. So it just, a little bit of give and take, but I made really good decisions in that practice and ended up picking a really good spot and was fortunate there at the end. But
what are your strengths? Like, what would you pick as if you had to just choose something to go in on? What are your strengths? What's your favorite way to catch them?
Well, I love power fishing top water. That'd be like my favorite if I could just pick, which unfortunately that doesn't work, all year round. But if I think I can, I'm going to test it. So it's like, that's my big one. But if not, just square billing. I like throwing a jig. flipping.
I've been fishing around Krista for a few years and seen her fishing, around us, and I was going to guess swim jig and a square bill in the topwater. So I'd have been pretty close. I'd have been pretty close.
Yeah. But I mean, I can, I guess, really just junk fish if I need to, because just like the Greer's event, the two bigger fish that I caught, you could catch them pretty easy on topwater that day, but the two bigger ones ended up being on that Saturday was just flipping a jig, and the next day was on a spinnerbait. So it was just, and actually those two came in the same spot off the same laydown. So it's just, as in that case, it was just kind of pulling out all the arsenal, and that's what they wanted there. But, I tried to really get better at being a jig fisherman, because I get my butt beat so bad by Cole Sykes all the time. So I gotta thank Cole, because that dude is like a master with that square or jig, and like Dwayne Beatty with the square bill. Like, those guys are just so good, and we're fortunate to live right here by them. So I'm glad for that.
Yeah, it's I know Arkansas gets a lot of heck for different things about their fishing, but it is diverse. I mean, like you said, you live down there in River Valley, you can be up on a fishing 50-foot clear water in the rocks in 45 minutes, or down in some swampy stuff going the other direction. So yeah, a lot of diversity, a lot of good ways to practice here. We've got Matt Boyd actually says that in the comments there. So yeah, Matt, I agree with you.
Yeah.
What's Conway gonna do when it gets water back in it?
Oof, I don't know. I keep
It's gonna be a long deal. It's gonna be a long process.
How long is it going to be before that lake's back repaired and full pool?
It's going to be a few years.
Is it really?
2 or 3 years? Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a process.
It's got trophy Florida strains in it, correct? I mean, it's
I
is
think
that
the
a big
idea
enough
is
lake to host a big tournament?
It could host a TOC.
Okay.
I don't think it could hold 200 people. I don't think, but it could hold 75, 100, easily 50, but damn, Matt Gifford's saying 5 to 8 years.
8 years, goodness gracious!
And Matt, you're familiar with that, Matt. How many anglers could that? I've fished a few tournaments down there, and we had 50, 60 anglers, and there was plenty of room. I just don't know how many you could put on there and not be too crowded. So tell us in the comments, Matt. It's not near as big as, say, Dardanelle or some of the lakes we fish in Arkansas.
What do you have left on your schedule, Krista, for the rest of the year outside of the TOC? Do you have any other big tournaments that you're planning to hit, or is that going to wrap it up for
you? No. They're doing like a bass qualifier on this Saturday that practice opens for the TOC, but we're already going to be in Dayton, so I guess we're going to miss that one. Or I would try to make that one, try to make it to 10 killer, but just the TOC is all I got left.
Gotcha.
No.
What do you think about a Bass Nation in Arkansas? Do you think we would support it? Do you think we'd have enough? Like if there was a trail going on across the state?
Yeah, I think there's enough involvement within the state that I think we would all jump in on that pretty well. I think it would be good.
You should find somebody like a podcast host that's a former tournament director that's retired from fishing to run something like that. I don't. I'll send a list of names. Well,
hey, that sounds like a good idea.
Dang it, Ryan.
Yeah.
If Duke's going to run Texas, you can run Arkansas. Come on.
I could. I sure could, but I don't know. There's cornhole tournaments to be played in, right?
That's true. I forgot. You're pro now.
Actually, I've talked to a few people about that, so we'll see.
Yeah, that'd be great. We all owe you a lot, Jeff, because from the get-go, you've really put your stamp on what kayak fishing is in Arkansas for all of us. A lot of people may not know that, but like the OGs that are around, really, we all owe you a big thank you, because it wouldn't be the same here with the work that you've done. So yeah, thank you for that.
I appreciate
Jeff did
that.
something good.
Yeah.
Guys.
Good.
As I can remember those SD card days, like way back in the day. Yeah.
Krista was there. She was there for the buckets and the SD cards and all that stuff. So
yeah, it's come a long way. So it's
kind of miss it, to be honest. That was fun. Those were fun times. You know what that did, Ryan? That forced everybody to stay at the weigh-in and hang out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like that. And again, we've talked about this several times. I want to figure out some way on these bigger events. I don't like the force people to stay type deal where it makes them miserable. Incorporate some kind of fun, something, whether it's a meal or, we've talked about cornhole tournaments or set up a kayak obstacle course or, like something.
Trout pond or something.
Yeah, I mean, something fun. Jig pitching. Jay Wallen used to love a little jig flipping contest at the old, the original Hobie Bass Opens on Kentucky Lake. He looked forward to that more in the tournament, I think, every year.
Now, the fishing is no good over there, but one of the funnest things I've ever seen was paddle sports retailer. I don't know if you've been to that show, Ryan. It was separate from outdoor retailer for a few years, and they had it in Oklahoma City. And they have a man-made whitewater park there. Have you been to that, Krista? You know where that is over there?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I haven't ever
Down
been
there
to
by
it.
Bricktown. Anyway, they had the big paddle sports show, but they were racing fishing kayaks through the whitewater, and it was unbelievable. So if we could have tournaments near something like that, where we could take turns seeing how bad we could flip our fishing kayaks in the whitewater.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
10 out of 10 would recommend.
Yeah.
Judging by some of the anglers I've seen fish on moving water, I think running a camera on that one would be worth its weight in gold as well.
Yeah, it was awesome. There's a little bridge. You could just watch everybody eat it going over the deal there. It was great.
But you have to do it with your rods in the boat. That's
yeah. Now.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got some good comments coming. So, Krista, well done. I know the state championship was big to you. I know you had the TOC on your list. I think there's just bigger and better things to come for you. And don't sleep on Krista's mama either. I know she's hurt right now, but she's out there catching them too. I just think it's a cool story. Hibbs family, two of my favorite ladies, just outstanding.
It's awesome. Thank you. Love to see it, and I hope you kick ass at the TOC.
Oh, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
We'll let you get out of here. Have a great night, Krista. Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you. Thanks. Y'all too. Bye.
Man, the Hibbs ladies.
I like them people.
Man, they're awesome. And
I from Arkansas, even,
Hey, yeah, you're right. The best we have, the best we have to offer here. But no, cool story with her winning state. And I think what she said's right. I think a Bass Nation would work here. I just don't know if we can get it up.
I think you're going to see a lot more of that as different states run successful trails, and you kind of see, the buy-in from a whole, from like the host lakes and stuff. I think you're going to see that mid-tier tournament kind of, take hold almost.
And I think what you said is probably the way in a lot of areas, which is piggybacking events. I'm not a huge fan of the multi-events on the same weekend, but for this, it would probably work.
I think especially areas that are saturated with trails already. I mean, that's how Tennessee is, right? We've got 14, 16 clubs. Put out the schedule, give the option. If you want to piggyback on it, that's cool. If not, then, have your own separate event.
Yeah. And in Arkansas, just like Tennessee, we've got clubs around the state in different areas. If you piggybacked one in each area, that'd be just fine. That way you can travel the state,
Yeah, I don't think you can do it with just one club. I think you have to pull in kind of each region to make it work.
Right.
But what do I know?
Yeah. It's not like you've ever ran tournaments, right?
No, man. Steve-O announced on our local TVKA page today that he's going to step down after next year. Bittersweet moment. Obviously Steve is busy on the national scene. He's done so much for the sport here. But he and I kind of kicked that thing off together. So it does bring a little tear to my eye seeing my boys step away from it. But we've got some new TDs trained up, ready to step up and help us keep the train rolling as Steve-O moves on to the next chapter.
Yeah, it's weird to see that. Krista brought up some of the stuff I did in Arkansas, and I put my heart and soul into it for a while. And when you step away, it's kind of a relief, but it's also kind of weird to watch something you built just kind of go out there and be without you. You know what I mean?
I didn't get to fish them this year. Obviously, had some unexpected events occur, and it's just it's tough to be away from it because you did start it. And while life gets busy, you feel responsible for that. Like you want to see it continue to grow and be successful. So it is kind of hard to, leave it in somebody else's hands.
Yeah. The boys here in Northwest Arkansas have held it down. Our boy Kyle Long has been keeping things together up here. Terrell standing for some other folks. So they're doing it here. And I know whoever comes after Steve will keep the train rolling. Is it going to be Daniel? Is he going to pick up the baton?
Daniel's doing a lot between Tennessee and Georgia Bass Nations too. So I don't know. I think Joe Kirk, we got some young guns, Casey Smith. Casey, I did call you young. I'm sorry. We got a lot of good guys that fish the club that want to continue to see it grow. So we're just going to kind of, help instill that with them, man. And I think it'll continue to be, a great presence in the cast, our governing body of the state of Tennessee. But I think, things are moving toward that Bass Nation format, for that mid-tier tournament. And people want something at the end of the year where they can qualify. I mean, imagine qualifying through your state Bass Nation Trail, that's 8 or 10 events, and you win the championship. Like that's the story. I think that's what people want. That's the dream. Weekend warrior progressing to the national stage. I think that's what everybody kind of longs after.
Yeah, Steve kind of mentioned it when he was on a few weeks ago, that at this last championship, it was, I don't know if he said it was half and half, but it was almost 50-50, like state qualifiers versus the national trail qualifiers, which is a great mix.
And that's what Bass is. I mean, that's, if you look at the foundation of the company itself, they try to provide that path for you to start out, fishing your local division and make it to the elites. That's the goal.
There we go. Let's do this giveaway tonight. We appreciate everybody watching tonight. I know, it's late in the season. Tournaments are wrapping up. People are kind of maybe getting ready to throttle down fishing for a little bit and go hunting. I don't know, but we appreciate everybody that makes time to join us on Monday night. So we're going to do the Seager giveaway.
I think the Cowgirls are playing tonight, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure enough. Sure enough. Here we go. See who it's going to be. I didn't put my name in there by accident.
I was going to say, are you going to win it again?
Oh, it was almost Bob.
Almost Bob.
But
Brian Lucas, slide in the DMs, provide your shipping information, and we will get Brian at Seagar to ship you your package. 7-7, it's tied. We got some people watching both.
All right, there we go. I like that. What a fun show, Ryan. It's always cool to maybe reach out there. If you guys have a state champion that you think we should put on here, please tag us somewhere, let us know about them, throw it in the DMs, whatever, because we'd like to bring some of the AOYs and state champs on throughout the quote off season. All right.
Yep. And as always, we're going to try to run the off season, pulling in some pros, pulling in some different guides from area in the country, just to, shed some light on some waters you might not have had a chance to fish.
Oh, and hey, week after next, the Halloween show is coming. The Halloween call-in show is coming. I already got my costume, Ryan. It's on its way in the mail.
I don't know what I'm going to do for that one. It'll probably be a hangover. I'll be in Texas Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'll probably have a good headache on that one.
All right. Well, hey, everybody go watch the football. We'll see y'all next week.
Later.